KC9VKV, November 8 Zulu uniform.
November 8 Zulu uniform.
Yes, hello, I'm John in North Carolina, in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Roger, John. I'm not sure. I've faded out of North Carolina a few times, so let's see how it goes, sir.
Well, I'm getting you over 9 most of the time. There's some fading in and out, but I'd say pretty intelligible 5.9 plus.
Roger. I know it all sounds good except when Mother Nature pulls the plug, Roger.
You're right. It is kind of funny the way it fades in and out. You were talking to the fellow from Florida a little while ago, and the tips you gave him about adjusting his compression and so forth, I could barely hear him when he first started communicating with you, and then after a while, he came in fine.
Roger. Well, Mother Nature knows. You know, she says, "Oh, he's doing that, so I'll up the signal for him."
So, where are you located?
We're across the river from Louisville, Kentucky. We're just across the Ohio from Louisville, right in Indiana. Roger.
Yeah, I seem to have a lot of QSOs with Midwesterners the last few days.
Roger. Gosh, what kind of radio are you running, sir?
So I've got an Icon 7300. I'm using the standard microphone that came with it. My antenna is an attic-mounted dipole, and got no amplifier or anything, so it's a pretty basic system. I'm just, this is actually my first month I've had an HF station, so I've got kind of a basic setup at this point.
So you were not HF capable. How long have you been a ham, sir?
I was a technician since about 2014, but I upgraded to General and Extra in November, so beginning in November. But it took me a little while to get around to buying and setting up the equipment and running the antenna and so forth to collect.
Roger, so you're an extra now?
Yes, I'm an extra now.
Oh, very good. Congratulations, sir. I look and envy with you. I hope to get my extra tickets sometime, but it's going to be a while, you know.
Yeah, after I got the technician, I waited 4 years before I took the general. But while I was studying for the general, it seemed easier than I expected. But when I started studying for the extra, boy, that was a different story. That was hard stuff.
Oh, Roger, I just switched over to the Milford PA SDR, and you're doing gangbusters there, Roger.
Roger. And where did you say that is?
That's Milford PA, Milford, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So you have access to a number of other receivers?
Roger, I have 2 Amazon Fire tablets and another computer, so I'm running 3 SDRs, internet SDRs, plus my receiver. Roger.
Roger. Hey, that's really fantastic. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, they all come up on a 6-position rotary switch. So the interesting thing about a rotary switch is that you can check 6 different signals in about a second and a half. I mean, it's just zip, zip, and you can hear what 6 different receivers are doing within a second and a half. Roger.
Roger. So where do you have these things placed? You have them placed in friends' homes or something?
No. What these are Fire tablets, and they're copying internet SDR locations. Roger.
Roger. Oh, I see. Okay. I think I understand now. I'm kind of new at this.
Roger. Well, you know, there are internet SDR receivers all over the country and all over the world. So I have probably about 25 SDR locations stored in my favorites, and I try to pretty much constantly monitor Rochester, New York, Raleigh, North Carolina, and Milford, PA. Those SDRs, Roger.
Roger. Okay, that's really interesting. So how do you get started in that?
Well, you just you go to Amazon and order you a couple of fire tablets. They are really quick. I can, from my favorites, when I select a SDR receiver in my favorites to when it's fully deployed on the screen, it takes about 6 seconds. Roger.
Roger. And can you do that with a regular computer, or do you need to have a fire tablet?
No, you can. I've got one that is just a regular computer. I've got it. That's the one that you're coming in on now. Is the Milford, PA SDR. Roger.
Roger. And where do you go on the internet? You have a URL that you dial in?
Oh yeah, they come up. There's a listing. It's it's SDR-HU, I believe it is, which has probably about 100 or 200 SDR locations on it, URLs, Roger.
Roger. Well, that sounds great. I'm going to do that.
Roger. Well, the thing is, it gives you an option. Instead of just one antenna, one signal, you have 3 additional as options, and they're spread out, So I'm going from Rochester to Raleigh to Milford, Pennsylvania, and so usually the stations are, in the southeast or the eastern corridor, and so this gives me some options that I couldn't. In other words, if I had to put money into another antenna system, it still wouldn't give me the bang for the buck that I have the way it is. Roger.
Roger. What was the website? I guess so. I guess it's. I've heard of people operating individual radios remotely, but I think this is the first time I've heard of dialing into SDRs on the internet.
Roger. Now this is just receive. This isn't transmit. I'm transmitting from one location, but these are just optional receive points. And there was somebody else that had a question out there. A person with a question. Come back.
Come back.
What was the website? Was it webfdr.org or another one?
SDR-HU, I believe. Hang on just a second. Let me break one of these down, and so I can get to my favorites here. I don't want to break the wrong one down, but let's see here. I got to go further back than that. It's called SDR.HU. SDR.HU. Roger?
Roger. Okay, SDR.HU.com or what?
No, just SDR.HU, and that'll bring up the listing of about 200 SDRs. Roger.
Roger. Okay, Roger. Thank you. M8BEG clear.
Roger, Roger. 3Z away, sir. Have yourself a good afternoon. And back to, was it John?
Was it John? Yes, that's John, and I didn't catch your name.
The name here is Jim, Juliet, India, Mike, and the call sign is KC9VKV, and we are located just across the river from Louisville, Kentucky. And this is the Qso-Vlog network. We are recording live between now and 5, and so if you would like to know what your radio sounds like, we'll be posting this on YouTube in the next couple of days. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, and on that page you'll be looking for a Qso-Vlog entitled My Group Aircheck 32919. My Group Aircheck 32919. Roger?
Roger. Hey, that's great. I will certainly do that. Yeah, this is all new to me. It's kind of really exciting.
Roger. Yeah, well, the thing was, we've got a lot of our 100-watt friends that this whole thing started in the morning time. on this frequency, and our 100-watt friends were coming in at about maybe 1 or 2 dB above the noise level. And so we thought maybe, you know, in the afternoon we might get some better propagation. And we did. We picked up another 3 units or so. So they're coming in about 5, 6 are in that area. And now we are added the SDRs so we can have options of trying to get closer to them with better signals so we can hear what their radio is doing. And when we might give them advice about what they need to do, we can hear it just a little bit cleaner. Roger?
Roger. So how are you copying me?
I'm copying you on the Milford, PA, and you're coming in about 8 dB above their noise level. Roger?
Roger. Okay. So I'm getting you a couple of dB over the noise, and you're actually broadcasting from Ohio?
We're broadcasting from Indiana, right across the river from Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay, I had my geography all mixed up. I was thinking Cincinnati was more across the river from Louisville, but I guess my geography is mixed up.
Well, just think of horse racing. First Saturday in May coming up, the worldwide Kentucky Derby. That's what they do over in Louisville, fast women and horses.
Well, thank you very much for the report. It's good to talk to you, and I guess I got to go see about making supper. So I'll go clear now, and so this is N8ZU clear, and thanks for the contact.
Roger, Roger. And John, what town in North Carolina are you next to?
I'm actually inside Raleigh. I'm almost in the middle of Raleigh.
Oh, well, hang on just a second before you run off, because I do have the Raleigh SDR up, and I'm just curious. Sometimes folks can be too close to these SDRs, and it's, you know, I'm just curious. Come back and talk to me just for a second. It's
interesting whether you'd be able to hear me from there or if I was too close. N8ZU.
Well, you are too close. I'm not even picking you up on the Raleigh SDR. I'm picking you up, as I said, on the Milford, PA SDR. Roger.
Roger. Yeah, I expect my antenna is probably mounted a little too close to the ground, so it probably doesn't have too much ground propagation.
Yeah, Roger. Because if you're closer than 25, 50 miles, you know, that's ground wave, and so I guess you'd have to be like maybe 10 miles away to actually function on ground wave very well. So that's, you know, that's the other thing. You never know about these SDRs. You just, you know, I've got them there, and I can run through them, and I can't say that this one's going to be hot and that one's not. You know, it's just there are options. You know, just look at them as 3 options other than my regular radio. Roger.
Roger. So, do you have any idea where that SDR is located in Raleigh, where the receiving point is?
No, I don't. They just list Raleigh. I mean, I have never seen an actual street address, Roger.
Roger. Okay, yeah, I'd just be interested to see how far away from me it is.
Roger. Now, what you might do is Google, well, you know, what we were talking there earlier about SDR-HU, I think it is, and read the fine print. It might actually say specifically where they are, Roger.
Roger. Okay, I'll try that. I'm certainly going to go to that site and look up how to do what you're doing.
Roger, Roger. Well, like I say, there's a lot across the United States, and there's a lot in Europe and around the world. So if you don't want to hear what's going on in China, you know, well, I don't know about China, but other places, yeah, anywhere in the world except maybe China. Roger.
Roger. Yeah, it seems to me that I was scanning around the internet one time, and I ran across a site. where you could actually talk on a ham radio remotely over the internet. Of course, you had to be licensed, but you were actually using your computer microphone, and the actual transmission was happening somewhere else. That might be similar to what you're doing.
Right. Well, it is kind of. I'm getting the receive part. I'm getting the receive part through the internet connection from that SDR receiver. Like I say, my transmit is coming from my main source by Louisville, Kentucky. Roger.
Roger. What kind of antenna and power are you running?
This is a inverted V, and we're running a SB220 at about a kW.
Okay, great. That's interesting to know, because I'm just picking you up really well. So you don't have a beam or anything?
No, just what I've tried to do is get a steep enough vertical angle to get more an omnidirectional pattern going with my inverted V, and that way we're pretty much 20 over from Montreal to Miami and New York to New Mexico. Roger.
Roger. Well, that sounds great. You know, like I said, I just got my antenna up and I just got my radio on just this month. So I think it'll, in the future, I'll be thinking about better but maybe more difficult ways to run an antenna on this property.
Roger. Well, you know, a simple thing would be to run two dipoles, one dipole north and south and one dipole east and west, and then put it on a AB switch, and you're going to get two different opinions on almost each signal that you're working.
Yeah, I think there are ways that I could do that on my property. There are some trees. There are some trees, but I might have to put like an inverted V like you have, because I don't have enough trees really to run, you know, to run a long dipole and still have a place to connect the coax. I think I might even have to bury the coax to get it to a convenient location.
Roger. Well, a dipole for 40 is 66 feet driven in the center, Roger.
40 is 66 feet driven in the center, Roger.
So, yeah, and I actually have an 83-foot antenna in my attic, but I actually had to bend it a little bit at the ends, about 5 feet at the ends to get it to fit.
Roger. It'd be better to bend the feed point and leave the ends straight. Roger.
Engineering and the elements, and they all run parallel to each other rather than standing out. They have coils in the longest element to shorten it a little bit. Over to you.
Ah, Roger. Roger. Well, you know, you're doing real well. For what you got, you know, if you can obviously get outside, it would be a little bit better, Roger.
If you can obviously get outside, it would be a little bit better, Roger.
Yeah, it certainly would. I kind of wanted to get going quickly, and one of the reasons that I went ahead and put up to my attic that I was using for coax, running up to my attic that I was using for a shortwave listening antenna some years ago, so I thought that would be my quickest way onto the air. And now that I'm on the air, I'll be thinking about better ways to do it.
Oh, Roger that. Roger that. Well, let me say threes to you. And again, if you want to check out your audio, go to YouTube in the next couple of days and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and then that'll take you to the Qso-Vlog page and look for Qso entitled My Group Air Check 32919. My Group Air Check 32919, Roger.
919. My Group Air Check 32919, Roger.
Okay, great. Yeah, I have that written down. This sounds like fun. It was great having contact with you. So 73, and I'll go clear N8ZU.
Roger, Roger, John 3's that way, sir. Have a good afternoon. We'll catch you later. This is KC9VKV in the afternoon Qso-Vlog program. If you've got a radio, you want to hear what it sounds like, give us a shout. KC9VKV.
Hear what it sounds like, give us a shout. KC9VKV.